for November of 2025. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like and subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. If you want to leave any donations, I will have a link in the description box below. So let's go ahead and get started with this reading. What's going on for November of 2025? There we go. So what's going on for November of 2025? All right, the Sun, Leo energy, Queen of Swords reverse, the Moon again, Cancer energy, Justice reverse, Libra energy, Hierophant reverse, Taurus energy, the Lovers, Gemini, Nine of Pentacles reverse, the Knight of Wands, Five of Wands. People are arguing back and forth, but like there's something that is sound like to me all this magic and manipulation that has been being done to you could be causing a lot of outrage covertly. There's covert outrage that is happening. Yeah, because they can't go back and forth with something anymore. Nine of Cups. There's somebody that may be proud of you. And there's someone that's also defending you in a very, 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 very strategic type of way. That's like this person is fighting battles for you covertly. This give me the vibes of someone fighting battles covertly for you in order to protect you from manipulation. I'm also getting somebody may be having to tune into their dark side. This could be someone that may be or have knowledge on witchcraft, but yet they're not going to use that on an innocent person. This is someone that could be very cold and calculated and can actually protect somebody and reverse everything. If somebody's trying to attack you, this individual will literally use that, reverse the spells back on them, and literally attack them is what I'm getting. They're tired of people messing with you. They're tired of people messing with you. They're also tired of these individuals lingering in their energy to try to mess with their head. So someone could be in the energy of feeling as if these individuals are continuously in their surroundings. This could be an individual that could be at a long distance. Something very significant about someone that may be at a long distance. I can't show that card. The World reverse. The World reverse. Hold on. You gonna come up on this live stream and be saying whatever the fuck you think you want to me. I'll tell you that right now. You get the hell on out of here. So this is a cycle that wants to continuously go over and over and over. Queen of Pentacles reverse, Five of Cups, the Empress reverse, and the Two of Cups. So this is a dark cult. Definitely a dark cult. Extremely dark cult. And some of these individuals think that they're the law. They're not the law. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're the illusional side of it. And there's someone that has been investigating something for a while, looking into these activities, and something is being verified that they're not actually legit. They're not. They don't care what their names. Something about the names, the brand, the names. It don't matter what it is. It don't matter the position that they have. It's all an illusion, and it's being identified as cult with the moon. This is covertly illuminated with the sun. This has been illuminated. Seems like to me there's a specific legal situation that keeps on getting darker and darker and darker and darker and darker by the minute. Someone literally is surrounded by a legal, so-called legal situation or system that are from the pits of hell, bro. This is from the pits of hell. These individuals are from the pits of hell. They're not human. And what is being ran is the exact opposite of the law. This is not the real deal, bro. All these individuals do is engage in voodoo, witchcraft, ritualistic abuse, and hurt people. That's all they do. Where's the FBI at, bro? Where they at? They could be cloaked somewheres, gathering information. I'm just saying, though, this situation needs them because this is not a legitimate system where someone's at. No, it's not. No, it's not. This can definitely be identified as a criminal organization of a criminal enterprise being ran with cult activities. This is not the proper oath that was taken, especially with the hand in reverse. It's all about raising their hand on the oath. This right here is a cult oath. This is not enforcing proper laws, bro. And these laws that are being violated is on federal law jurisdiction that is overstepping their boundaries to prove that it's violating their jurisdiction. Is this local corruption? Yes, and it's being seen straight through. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Is this being seen by FBI? They're not cloaking shit. They're being seen exactly what they are with the 7 of Cups reverse. They're trying to hide and cause illusion, brainwash people. This is being seen. This is being seen by somebody. Is this the FBI that's seeing these individuals for what they are? Clarify that. Yes, 5 of Pentacles reverse. This is what they do for their job. This is what they do on duty, while on duty. Yep. This is a round-the-clock type of practice that these individuals are engaging in. And this is going to better to prove that they are a cult. This is not the law at all. They're annoyed by it. They're looking at it with a side eye like, what is wrong with these people? But they have to go through certain procedures when it comes to looking into situations and investigations. They have to wait for them to have the green light to go through with a raid. But all while that is pending possibly, they're sitting there looking at these individuals with the side eye like, what is wrong with these people? So they're annoyed. This is definitely catching their attention in a very guarded type of way, like guarding this, like they have to protect themselves from these people. That's what it looks like. They feel the need to have to protect themselves from these people. Bro, this is extreme to the point where they literally have to protect themselves from these individuals. This is giving me the vibes of the shields. Know how the SWAT team come in there with the shields? Yeah, they're definitely, bro, there's several of them in there that are looking at these individuals with the side eye like, man, what's wrong with these people? They caught on to it. 7 of Cups reverse. They caught on to it. These individuals ain't brainwashing them. So if this is the feds that may be in that may be looking into something or catching a cult like practice, then this right here is something that's not brainwashing to them. They have a reality check with the 7 of Cups reverse. They see reality for what it is. If some of you feel a legitimate energy from the feds, you more than likely do. Some of you may not be able to feel their energy, but if you're intuitive, you'll be able to detect who is genuine and who is not, who is actually an actual human and who is not. Even though some of them may not be spiritual like you are, they still are connected to themselves. You will be able to feel that they are actually a normal person rather than someone that is cloaked with evil intentions and they have like a dark force presence behind them. If some of you pick up the fact that these individuals are legit and they're connected to themselves, they're normal, that's a confirmation. That's why they're looking at these individuals the same way, because they're connected to themselves. This is not an investigation based off of conspiracy theory either. This is actually some factual information that is identifying these practices as cult practices. Rituals over and over and over and over and over, performing them while on duty. The whole practice is a ritual. This ain't no fucking law. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Trying to have individual sacrificial rituals being done. Man, this ain't the fucking law. Excuse my language. This ain't the fucking law. They're annoyed at it too with the Nine of Wands, but they just gotta wait on the green light for whoever's giving instructions for the investigators to collect evidence and build things if there's a case being built. They cannot rush in just because they want to. They have to follow certain procedures. This is annoying them also. They want to rush in like they're about ready to just break loose and rush in. Wherever this is happening at. This may not be happening all over, but there's definitely something right here with the moon, Hierophant, Justice reversed. This is definitely cultural-like practices that are being done. That is very, very, very sinister, dark, and very, very, very demonic and wicked. For this to be catching their attention to where they're looking at it like that, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. Why are they looking at this situation like this, which we already know why, but clarify that with a Tower card. Clarify that. This is too many. See how my energy is when I bring up their energy? Calm and chilled. Because they're not evil. They're not evil like these individuals. Even to the ones that may not do their job all the way the right way, they still are not nothing compared to these individuals. No, they're not. No, they're not. I'm also getting some of the ones that may not be doing things all the right way in a higher position. This is also catching their attention even. Bruh, this is how extreme this is. Like, this is a problem. And this could also change their perspective. As I said, they need to do something. They need to do something about this because this is dangerous. So why do they perceive this to be putting the higher-ups on guard with the Nine of Wands and the Seven of Cups reversed? Why is that? Clarify that. If that is them. Keep in mind, there's a disclaimer in the description box below, y'all. I'm not a legal advisor. This is just clairvoyant energy, intuitive channelings of energy I'm reading. High Priestess revert witchcraft. The secrets are out. They know their secrets. This is witchcraft. So this is a double confirmation. And then you have this right here. That would be warlock energy. And then you have a dark high priestess. A dark high priest. That would be the males and the females. Witches, warlocks. Yep. This is why they have their guard up. Because they see it exactly for what it is. And they feel these individuals' intentions too. They feel what they're engaging in. They see what they're engaging in. So this is a reality. So this could be kind of like a scary, intimidating reality check for them. That, wow, they really are those people, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Something's giving me the vibes of, look, I'm not trying to come across as being too intense with the message, but what I'm getting here is with the moon card and the animals being there with the fur, because dogs known to have fur, right? When it comes to how extreme this situation is and this energy is, I don't know if y'all have ever heard of skinwalkers, but this is giving off the vibes of these individuals may not, some of them may not be human. We're not even talking about the reptilian. None of that. Someone that knows how to manipulate animals and manipulate their environment and their surroundings to control people. That's how intense, that's how violent this is on a spiritual, energetic level. I'm kind of getting that energy. Because they can work through animals, bro. Like, they can manipulate animals as monitoring spirits. Yes, they can. You ever notice this strange activity? I'm about to break it down in details. Maybe they need some informational flow when it comes to identifying more on the informative level of the spiritual knowledge, the spiritual viewpoint. If y'all ever notice how they have a bunch of vehicles in a parking lot, or you notice how there's a specific location where it's not normal activity like the rest of the people out there in the public setting. And you have a lot of individuals that may be operating in a specific manner when it comes to vehicle activity of idling vehicles. What is occurring when a vehicle is idling in a parking lot or at a specific location in the middle of the road that's just sitting there with their foot on the brake? That is a ritual being performed. I'm going to tell you how it's being performed. There's a certain practice of monitoring spirits that are flowing through these individuals' vessels in order to monitor certain situations and report back. Monitor and report back. On a physical level of a violation to when it comes to this tracking, because these monitoring spirits like to follow people. This is going to be a physical violation of the Fourth Amendment with unreasonable searches with individuals that's right here. That's going to be the physical violation of a Fourth Amendment. Unreasonable searches, because monitoring means searching, right? That means an investigation is taking place, but this is not a legitimate investigation. This is a ritual being continuously practiced in order to violate this individual's rights and privacy on a spiritual law level when it comes to monitoring spirits. And a monitoring spirit is there to exploit the vulnerabilities of the individual and to exploit their weaknesses in order to report back to the kingdom of darkness. And this is how these individuals are operating on a spiritual level when it comes to what they believe in and what they practice that is not of the law, bro. This is not the law. So what is being done is the individuals that are connected to this, they're all connected together. It could just be a few individuals. It could be up to 20 to 50 something people, but still, that's enough. And what is being done is they're engaging in these practices in order to cause harm to humanity. A lot of people may not be able to understand or explain what's going on or what's taking place when it comes to the monitoring. This is monitoring spirits. When you see these individuals in a parking lot and there's no legitimate explanation why they're sitting there or at the gas stations or in a specific location or even in the middle of the road or sitting at a stop sign for over more than 5 minutes straight, that right there is abnormal. I'm going to tell you what's doing that. A ritual. That's a ritual being practiced, and people may wonder why the person why they're not being cited for it, why they're not being given a citation, why the law is not pulling them over and giving them a citation, because it's a ritual being practiced from them, combining with the other people that are taking part in that. That's why. That's exactly why. A lot of people identified as group stalking. This is a ritualistic practice that is being done on an extremely dark level of the occult. Cult-like practices. That's what it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is identifiable. Yes, it is. You just have to know how to identify it through the details and doing your research. This may not come up in research on the internet, but you more so have to listen to your intuition when it comes to that, because your intuition could obtain infinite information. That's why God put it within some of y'all out there. Everybody has intuition. But when it comes to an intuitive gift, that's why he granted you the gift in order to channel that, to get down to the bottom of it. That's what's taking place. A lot of people think it's Coinel Pro or Counel Pro. That would be counterintelligence. They want to try to falsely accuse these individuals of doing that. Okay, so I'm getting offended. They could be defamation. They could be going through a defamation of character, because a lot of people think that it may be them. that is attack. No, it's not, y'all. No, it's not. They want to discredit them. This may have took place a long time ago when it comes to certain situations, but when it comes to this specific situation on a local level, it's not the feds. No, it's not. I will defend them when it comes to that, because I know how to tune into energetic manipulation that is trying to have them seen in a certain way to prevent you from reaching out to them. That way it can mess with your mind. I'm going to completely squash that illusion, because I know how to channel energy and to tune into energy. When I feel a legitimate energy from them, that right there is a sure enough confirmation that they're not bad people. Okay? So I don't know where these individuals get their fucking information from, because I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes to my gut feeling, I don't feel this pulling sensation, or I feel like a gripping sensation, or a drop like that. I don't feel that in the presence of them at all. But when it comes to this other situation, or this information that these individuals are trying to spread about them, this could literally be getting in the way of them helping people, which is having the people that are reporting these activities discredited. Because it's all psychological manipulation. There is a such thing as count now pro, or however you say that word. But that was a long time ago. I did my research on that because I seen somebody, it was a recommended video that popped up in the recommended settings. And I looked up information on that, and that was a long time ago. But no, this is not nothing to do. No, this is not nothing to do with that. No, it ain't. This is on a spiritual based level of witchcraft and ritualistic practices of a cult. The cult. This is a cult. This is not that at all. I mean, there could have been that, but there's a difference. Even when that was occurring, there's a difference, y'all. There's a difference. There's definitely a difference. This is cult. It's completely different than Count Pro. Completely different. But that was a long time ago. And I will step in and defend their reputation when it comes to people trying to falsely accuse them of doing these things or whatever when it's not them. Why am I being guided to defend their reputation? Because something is trying to manipulate the narrative and not wanting things to end when it comes to their presence intervening and actually ending the situation out. That's why. Because this is meant to scare people. This is meant to scare them from the feds. That's why when the feds ain't there to hurt you. But this is giving off an illusion of where if they are investigating something, just because you don't see their presence don't mean that they're not around. Just because you don't see something don't mean that they're not there. That's what your intuition is there for, so you can feel that. I'm not going to give too much information when it comes to that. But this is more so on, they cannot give any information. They cannot show their presence or reveal anything about them. Especially when it comes to certain procedures that are taking place. So I will let y'all know that. But just because you can't see something, don't mean that it's not there. Just like the heavenly angels. Just like angels that are all around us. See, there's angels in here right now that I can't see. But they're there. It's the supernatural. It's the other side. The veil is thin, bro. This is why I'm being guided to defend their reputation, because people are maybe trying to end things for them, to prevent them from doing their job the right way. Makes sense to me. I don't know how much impact I could have on defending their reputation, but I know my spiritual knowledge is very powerful. I've been in this practice for a long time, ever since 2020 to be exact. That's when I had my awakening, but I already had the clairvoyant gift since a long time, bro. I've always been able to sense and pick up things, to channel energy. I know how to receive visions. And sometimes that could be overwhelming to me as a reader, an energy reader, an energy channeler. Some people call it a medium. I call it a clairvoyant energy channeler. That begins to be very overwhelming for me. I don't even need my tarot cards to read energy accurately. It's just certain environments that I could get in, or certain housing situations. Like, let's say I go out of state and they have a hotel, or if I go somewhere and I'm walking on the sidewalk and they have a haunted house, I will be able to detect what is going on, why that house is haunted. I will be able to receive visions. It's either going to come through as a feeling of grief, a strong sense of sadness, or a strong sense of, I may receive pain in my shoulder or pain right here. So that right there could be an indication of health issues that pertain to the individual passing away on that property. It will come through as a very energetic, charged energy that is highly uncomfortable. It's not comfortable at all. That's how I will be able to pick that up. And sure enough, bro, if you go do your research on what happened in that house, what happened to the owners of that house a long time ago, this could be decades ago, bro. This could be years ago that happened, even before my time. Anyways, whenever I go by the property like that, sure enough, bro, you could do your research just like the movie The Shining. You remember how Danny, how they went to that hotel, but yet he received visions before he went to the hotel? I'm being guided to speak a lot on this. I know it's a movie, but shit like this is real, but it's rare to find when it comes to the actual clairvoyance out there. But when it comes to this movie The Shining with Danny, how he was able to have that gift, his mama had that gift too, okay? But he had the gift the most. Well, anyways, if you paid attention to The Shining, the 1997 version of The Shining, not the Jack Nicholson version, but The Shining, 1997, I want to say it came out. It was the new version of The Shining in 1997, not the Jack Nicholson version, which that one right there, they have, you know, clues in there too. But it's all about the 1997 version of The Shining. Well, anyways, if you paid attention to Danny, how he was able to channel all that, he was channeling the hotel's vibrations and frequencies and what happened there. He was the only one that could see what was going on. It's because he had that gift. And guess what happened whenever he was in a room, whenever he got grabbed up by that ghost, that lady grabbed him and pulled him back in a room like that. And then that's whenever his dad and his mom was sitting there talking to him, and that's whenever they agreed to hear him out. And his daddy asked him, he's like, was you strangled by a ghost? And he said, yeah. That's what put the bruises on his neck. And his dad sat there and kind of tried to deny it. This is giving me the vibes of an official, though. An official may look like that man in the movie. That's what I'm getting intuitively. I don't know his name, the actor, or the guy that played Jack Torrance in that movie. This is the 1997 version, because they have different, like the new version of The Shining is a bit different than the older version. But anyways, it's the 1997 version. And whenever Danny's dad was looking at him and was agreeing to hear him out, he did get upset. But there may be a man that may be an official, an authority figure in a higher position that may kind of look like the man. Don't have to look like him. But he's giving off the vibes to where something could have been researched. That's what I'm getting. This is a person that will be able to channel things, bro, on a very intense level. And after he got through explaining, Danny got through explaining what he was feeling, what his visions was showing him, and the energy that he was picking up, he pulled Wendy off to the side. He said, well, a few years back, they had a mobster that was executed there. They had some bad shit that went on there a long time ago. He was right. Bro, I just got the chills as I said that. He read it in the cellar. He found some papers in the cellar before he even got granted that, or before he was granted that job, I want to say. And how he was the caretaker of that hotel. He was down there in that cellar and he found in the papers. He read it all in the papers. Danny didn't know nothing about that. Bro, he didn't know nothing. You could tell, like, he didn't have any papers, no information or none of that. He straight up picked that up, bro. And he had an angel that was around him at the name of Tony. Tony was helping him out. And if you look before they even went to the hotel, whenever Tony went like that, that's what I told y'all about how I seen the angel number 1111, where the dots disappeared. And I interpret that number as bars, bro. That's my spiritual vision, interpreting that as jail bars because a setup taking place. Remember I told y'all about that? That's how the signs and synchronizations of your angels will protect you from certain things. Well, anyways, if you paid attention to the movie The Shining, bro, this give me the chills. If you pay attention to the movie The Shining, 1997 version, by the way, and how he wiped that sign like that, he cleared that sign. He said, look, and he showed him like that, and it turned to the skeleton with the bones crossed like that on that street sign. That was a warning. But Danny pierced through that street sign like that and seen the hotel. And Tony said, stay away. Stay away. He seen that long before it even took place, and it was trying to warn him, and he heard the voices in the hotel. The laughing, the like that, the evil laughing. He channeled that long before he even got to the actual hotel, bro. I know that's a movie, but someone right here could be this could be due to a clairvoyant's gifts. That could be identifying something that's extremely dark. Because I don't know if they still do that or whatever, but they have a such thing as psychic detectives. I don't know if you ever watched the episode of that. They do have a such thing as psychic detectives. This is going to literally have to take for a few psychic detectives or clairvoyants to come together to actually get into this information, to help the feds out, to help them uncover the root of the problem, what's really going on. But if somebody's trying, yeah, look at that high authority figure, Emperor card. If someone is trying to falsely accuse them of hurting someone when they're really not, then that right there deserves to be called out for what it is. Because I'm a man that's not going to sit there and stand for somebody trying to cast some type of illusion over them and to try to get something persuaded or to have people persuaded to be scared away from their presence when they can actually help you on a situation. It's just how to identify it. That way they can take certain procedures, certain actions can be taken through certain procedures, is what I mean. But you have to be persistent. Don't feel like you're annoying them either. Somebody may be projecting some type of annoyance as if you're annoying. Something keeps on happening in your surroundings and you're being guided to report it. Don't feel like you're annoying them. Don't feel like you're annoying them at all, bro. It's their job to sit there and protect certain infrastructures, crops, lands, humanity. That's their job. That's the federal law's job. What you think the home of the land of the free and the home of the brave means? The land means the U.S. If some of you out there are located in the United States, I don't know much so about overseas, United Kingdom and all that. But what I do know about is the land. The U.S., United States. What you think that is? That right there is across all the states. So you know what that means? Federal. That means there are certain practices, there are certain things that are being done on a specific level that are going to better to be identified through certain titles and sections in their law that prohibit this activity. And when you have somebody that's operating in a manner to not be running the law the right way, and this is what's happening with witchcraft practices combining with cult-like rituals being done, that's not of the law, bro, at all. At all. I'll put it to you like this. Once something could be unmasked and legitimate physical proof of evidence to prove the burden of proof, when it comes to that, this right here could get the situation to turn and to drastically transform. But they want people scared of the higher-ups. They also are trying to project fear on the FBI too. That's what I'm getting. They're trying to project fear on the FBI through spiritual ritualistic practices to project fear on them. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to combat that type of tactic on a spiritual law level when it comes to the spiritual manipulation, what these individuals are trying to do. And I'm going to inspire them to look at their badge when they got the chance. FBI agents, I want y'all to take y'all badge out when you have the chance, okay? I'm not telling y'all what to do. I'm just giving y'all my sound advice. Do me a favor, take that badge out and look at the symbolism on that badge and do your research on the symbolism of Archangel Michael. And look up what Archangel Michael is there for. If some of you may not know who Archangel Michael is, some of you may know who he is, but look up the definition of Archangel Michael and look up the symbolism on your badge with the scales in one hand and the sword in the other. And you're going to see that that's a direct match of justice to pin the devil down. To put y'all foot on these individuals' heads like these demons that keep on attacking people, that keep on doing this to people. Y'all have the authority and the influence to overpower these dark forces to stop them. Because Archangel Michael is known to defeat the wicked and snares of the devil, right? Exactly. I don't know if y'all have ever heard that before, but I'm being guided to share that knowledge with federal law when it comes to their badge. I don't know if people has identified that before, but I'm being guided to give y'all my sound advice when it comes to that, when it comes to how strong and powerful and the spiritual symbolism beyond that federal badge that they wear, that they have on them, that could defeat these situations because of jurisdictional violations on their level that they can have against these people to shut it down. To the ones that care at protecting people, that protecting infrastructure, crops, protecting people's amendments, protecting people's civil rights, protecting their U.S. constitutional rights, U.S. federal protected rights, a Title 18 or Section 242, Title 18 U.S.C. Section 242, defending that relentlessly, defending the Title 42 U.S.C. Section 141-41, and also defending the Title 18 U.S.C. Section 241. Why am I being guided to tell them to look at their badge when they have the chance to see who they are? And to look up and to put it side by side, Archangel Michael and the symbolism behind Archangel Michael, what that identifies as. I don't know if they have ever heard that before. I said that's in one of my other videos, but I'm saying it again. There's a spiritual meaning beyond that badge, but the symbolism on that badge to defeat situations like this, to stop these individuals from hurting people. Why am I being guided to tell them to look at their badge and to do their research on Archangel Michael? Even though it's been depicted as a different imagery, but he still holds the scales with the sword drawn back like that, with his foot on the devil's head, defeating the wicked and snares of the devil. That means these cults that are running things, that's not doing the right thing, especially when it comes to trying to masquerade as if they're the real law, but they're actually not. And this could be identified as it's not the real legitimate laws that are being ran or enforced. They could step in and put a stop to that, because this is hurting a lot of people. So why am I being guided to share my it's in my destiny. It's in my destiny. This Scorpio's energy is in that too. The Wheel of Fortune. That's Leo, Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius energy. It's in my destiny to share that with them. Yes, it is, because it's a very powerful message on a spiritual level. See the sword right there? It's in my destiny to share that knowledge with them. This is powerful, bro. This is powerful. The Wheel of Fortune is a powerful card. I don't know if some of them believe in divination, but the ones that may agree to have an open mind about divination, and they may be learning a lot from tarot or oracle cards, which this is just regular tarot cards here, but I'm having to use my remote viewing abilities when it comes to specific situations in regards to how these individuals are operating, combined with spiritual knowledge and legal knowledge all at the same time. And that right there is a challenge to me. It may not seem like it, but it is. But it's in my destiny to share this knowledge with them, because this can have things shift in a very, very, very powerful way, because they are known as external forces that are outside of these individuals' control. Because that's what they're there for, to try to control things on a dark level, to attack people. And this right here is against people's U.S. federal protected rights, their civil rights, and violating titles and sections of the federal law jurisdiction. That's why it's in my destiny to share that knowledge with them. To the ones that may care to shift things and to do things how they're supposed to be done. I also know my information about a book, bro. There's things that could be researched if they look this up. There's things that could be researched within their titles and sections. Within federal law, knowledge, federal law, it's something very significant about titles and sections could be researched. And it's right there in the book, the federal law book. Not the symbolism of their badge. I'm not sure they'll find that within that, but this is a spiritual sign. This can also put them back in their power too, to remember who they are, what they stand for, to protect this land, to get these individuals to stop these type of activities from occurring, because this is hurting a lot of people. And federal law is there to protect people, right? Exactly. To be honest with you, this is the only law that I perceive to give you the most freedom. Because when these individuals think that they're doing the right thing, when it comes to enforcing certain things, but yet they're violating things above the state level, that's federal law violation. This is not a belief. This is actual factual information that's in the law book of federal law knowledge. Federal law information in the book. Not just knowledge, it's factual information that is there in writing. If it wouldn't be in the book, then therefore they wouldn't have nothing to fight this situation with. But it is. It is. And it's in my destiny, obviously, to call these situations out and to help them on a spiritual level understand why people are complaining about this activity, because I have the power to also create a shift with this right here. If you really think about it, y'all, I don't know how many people believe in Jesus or believe in Jesus Christ. But if you really look at who has been depicted as Jesus, the crown of thorns around his head, that right there would be excruciating pain. But people that has been under attack when it comes to psychological manipulation, psychological torture, trying to brainwash individuals with the Seven of Cups reversed, that is an attack upon the crown chakra, which is a simulation of these individuals trying to put the crown of thorns around people to psychologically torture them with these type of practices, which is considered a sacrifice, because that's what was done to Jesus. It may not be the man that's been depicted as on the cross, but still, there was a man that was sacrificed that went by the name Jesus Christ. That's how he was identified. Which I'm not really going to get into a religious discussion on this live stream, but I'm being guided to share my spiritual knowledge from what the Most High is coming through to me to give me guidance on, to sharing with them to cause a possible shift to take place. I'm also being guided to help them identify the color patterns of the raid jackets, how they wear their jackets. Even though it may be yellow and blue, their jackets may be yellow and blue. This can be also a similar indication of Egyptian colors, which is royalty. That would be connected to Horus. There's Egyptian right here. Like this is connected to a lot of royal power. Feds have royal power more than they can imagine on a spiritual level, bro. That could bring an end into these type of situations in a matter of minutes, like minutes to weeks to months. They could end all situations like this because of their royal power that they have on a spiritual level. And it's like whatever is trying to project this fearful energy on them, it's definitely trying to cause interferences between their intervention to stop situations like this from occurring and hurting innocent people. But literally putting them in the energy to where they just have to sit back and observe, and they can't take any action, but they can, because it's all under the titles and sections in the law book. That's going to better to identify and back up the symbolism of their badge. That may not be Archangel Michael on there, but it's the same exact imagery of the sword and the scales in the other hand like that. The only difference is the scales being held by Archangel Michael with the sword being drawn back like that. But that's the power that they have. That's the power that they have. Because Archangel Michael has been the picture of the Archangel, which is the warrior, one of the most powerfulest angels to defeat the wicked and snares of the devil. That means defeating cults. Cults that believe in hurting people, that believe in abusing people's rights, attacking people, assaulting people. You got individuals in here that believe in psychologically hurting someone, abusing their power, breaking their spirit down, attacking them on a spiritual level, sitting there hurting animals and doing all this to a specific person. That right there could easily be stopped by federal law's intervention. Because it's not of the law to start with. The law is supposed to be there to protect, right? This is the exact opposite of protection. Therefore, it's going to be better to identify and verify. This is the exact opposite of enforcing state law on a local level. Because that's what they're there for, to enforce state law and to take up the oath to serve and protect, not to violate and harm. That's the truth. Ace of Swords, bro. That's a breakthrough in clarity. So once again, this is clarifying. It's in my destiny to speak on that. It's in my destiny to speak on that to help them see what's really going on. To the ones that may be open-minded enough, that's not judgmental, or that may have a religion belief, but that may be open-minded enough to hear me out when it comes to my spiritual knowledge. And I'm getting a few individuals in there maybe agreeing to actually listen, to hear me out on that. Because you wouldn't be able to obtain this type of information from even a Bible. Clarify that. This is going to better to actually defeat a situation. I'm also getting that there is a non-hostile energy from their presence with the Five of Swords reverse. It's not an intimidation type of energy. There's a non-hostile energy from them. But their intervention can definitely prevent a lot of attacks, but like that could prevent the stalking that's going on. People having their civil rights violated under the Title 18, Section 242. This could prevent intimidation and oppression, bullying, under the Title 18 USC Section 241. That's conspiracy against rights. It can also prevent these practices and patterns from being done under the Title 42 USC Section 14141. Even though that's been reclassified, it can still be protected under that. Because this is a pattern and practice that is continuously and relentlessly being engaged in. And this is harming people. This is hurting people. Four of Swords. I'm not going to be too detailed when it comes to this energy right here. This can push people to the point of ending, bro. This is a wake. That's a wake. That's a funeral. This can push people to injuring themselves, which is from the psychological torture. The practices that are being conducted on these individuals and these specific patterns that can be identified as indeed Title 42 USC Section 14141. Engaging in a pattern of practice of that, of ritualistic practice that's being done. That's the exact opposite of enforcing state law, bro. Needs to have their intervention done because people are being hurt. People are being hurt. And federal law's intervention can actually prevent these from continuously taking place and from hurting people and also people losing their life, bro. I'm not saying that would happen to everybody that goes through this, because some people out there, bro, have one heck of a warrior spirit. They have a warrior spirit, bro. Like, they're a warrior when it comes to that, standing their ground. I'm one of those people. I know how that feels. I wouldn't even be on this camera right now or be the person that I am today if I wouldn't face with these experiences of very harsh situations that I should not have had to go through. But I'm here to express and to sit there and to demolish and dominate these type of energies that think that they can overpower me and overpower God, because they're not. They're not. Ten of Wands reverse, as I'm saying that. But this is also giving me the vibes of a peaceful resolution. FBI can bring peaceful resolutions to people, and they could bring healing to families. They could bring healing to people that have been hurt psychologically and spiritually. Their intervention can actually protect people and have them with peace, to where they could go to sleep without having to be concerned about their freedom being jeopardized, their freedom, them being hurt, them being subjected to false arrest, false imprisonment, from them being subjected to continuously being monitored and stalked, continuously being exploited on an emotional level, financial level, and relentlessly having to deal with attacks all day, every day, all day, every day. That is prohibited under the Title 18 USC Section 241. Intimidation, oppression, abuse. I want to say they may be conspired to injure within that title and section. I don't know that, but I do know oppression, intimidation, and I want to say bullying may be under that title and section. And if this is being done by officials right here with the Hierophant and the Justice card reverse, then this right here is going to be able to verify the Title 18 USC Section 242 being violated, because that's depriving the individual of their rights. It's deprivation of their rights. They cannot be doing that. 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 That's objection. Objection, they can't be doing that. I'm getting, they're seeing it. They're seeing a pattern. Look at that. They're seeing it. They're seeing a pattern. Okay, so they have definitely identified a pattern too, is what it looks like. And I'm guided to let them know that some of these practices, whenever they're involved with doing this, are conjuring up supernatural forces from the pits of the underworld. This is dangerous. This may not be able to be seen or detected within a physical viewpoint, but on a spiritual level, bro, if they had a certain level of technology to capture that, to see where these forces are coming up, like these underworld creatures that are coming up from the underworld to the surface and the physical world, y'all will be able to see how dark this is. Bro, these energies, these entities and creatures can literally come through mirrors. I don't know if they believe in that, but it could come through mirrors, because mirrors are known as a portal to the other side. This is what they call mirror rituals. It's called mirror magic. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but it's mirror magic. And what they do is they use a mirror for satanic purposes in order to conjure up things, to extract things through reflective surfaces. That way they could come out as like a portal. It's a portal. And dark spirits can definitely come through portals of mirrors. Wherever this is located at, they have something open to where it's relentlessly pouring out through a portal of dark forces to pollute humanity. And that is hurting people physically and causing nothing but violent acts in the individual surroundings, and causing a lot of uneasiness, a lot of uncomfortability. You can feel this in your stomach, which is your intuition. You can pick this up intuitively and feel this in your stomach, that something is not right, something is wrong. It's a constant dreading feeling that something's off. That's what this is. That's exactly what this is that is being done. The Eight of Cups. Someone's using their weapon of power in a good way to actually identify something, to look into something is what it looks like. Several individuals are. There's a cup missing right here too. You see how they got the cups? A cup's supposed to be sitting right there, but it's not. These individuals are also discovering the difference why some people may be alone, why specific people are being subjected to this type of harm. Because they're healers. They're healers. And these people right here are satanic. They're witches and warlocks. That's what they are. So if you notice how someone is alone, they don't fit in with people, that's not a violation of any law. They have the right to believe in what they want to believe in, which is protected under the First Amendment, U.S. constitutional protection. Or it's U.S. constitutional protected, which is a right to freedom of religion and belief. First Amendment. That gives the individual the right to believe in what they want to believe in and to have whatever religion they want to believe in. If this person is different, this is not against any law. This individual deserves to be protected more than these individuals actually, because of who they are. This can also be identified. You know how certain laws, they have the law that protects the bald-headed eagle? This individual deserves the same protection on them. If they could protect a bald-headed eagle like that, that's part of humanity, right? This earth angel is also part of humanity. That's a healer to Mother Earth. That can protect certain infrastructures, crops, from threats of domestic terrorism. That can neutralize that. And that's something that federal law has the power to actually neutralize threats to people's surroundings. That's why the JTTF is there, right? Exactly. That would be Joint Terrorism Task Force, to neutralize threats. To get the threat, to remove the threat out of there. Two of Swords reverse. So this is about a lot of information coming out, a lot of lies being seen through, a lot of truths surfacing. Things that are being seen for what they are due to someone agreeing to possibly look into something, bro. The Two of Swords reversing the Eight of Cups. It's giving me the vibes of people using their weapon of power to do the right thing and to listen to their intuition to help them guide them down the right path in order to serve justice and to get things to transform and to possibly go nationwide with a public announcement. That's another thing that I'm getting. This can even escalate to that happening of a public nationwide announcement from federal officials. Because there's multiple individuals that are capturing this activity, feds. Multiple people are capturing this activity. It's all over YouTube. Some of y'all may have had reports, numerous of reports that came into y'all agency in regards to these individuals being stalked relentlessly, being monitored, being subjected to scrutiny, being subjected to false charges on them. The individuals are looking to set these people up, premeditating things upon them, fabricating things about them. That's not enforcing state law at all, Fed. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's the exact opposite of that. This is actually a ritualistic practice to have this individual hurt and harm and to have them restrained, which is going to be identified not more so as spiritual imprisonment, but it's the physical imprisonment. But this is what's occurring long before the actual physical imprisonment occurs. This is a ritual. This is what they're practicing in order to sit there and to slowly hurt this person to where that can happen. It's torture. That's crime against humanity, torture. It's considered torture. They don't have to literally put their hands on this person to torture them. It's all about these individuals engaging in these practices. That's clearly a violation of Title 42, USC Section 140, 141. Something needs to be done about it. And it's also in violation of Title 18, USC Section 242. along with the Title 18 USC Section 241. Those 3 titles and sections are legit that can protect these people from being done that way. So give me a closing message. But yeah, just like I said, like y'all may have received numerous reports from different people, and it's all the similar situation, ain't it? If you really look over YouTube videos when it comes to, they like to identify it as gang stalking, but it's really not that. I mean, people like to identify it as that because it's a group of individuals and they like to gang up together. That's why they call it that. It's not the other word pertaining to that level. No, it's a group of individuals that like to gang up together and they call it that. But some of you may be kind of confused. It's like you believe the stalking, but it's like when it comes to the way that they identify it, it makes no sense. But that's what they're trying to tell y'all. If they did identify it as that, this is what they're trying to tell y'all what it is. But it's not identified as that. It's considered group organized harassment stalking when it comes to the violation of Title 18 USC Section 241. It's a repetitive pattern of practice that is being conducted that's violating y'all law of Title 42 USC Section 141.41. If officials are engaging in that, that's what that is. It's basically organized crime. That's what it is. It's organized crime. Because stalking is a crime. So you basically have to identify it as organized crime. That's what it is. And I will let it be known that it's connected to racketeer RICO. Because this individual, this innocent person that is being under attack this way, or having color law violations put up on them relentlessly being done to them. Color law violation is fabrication, false arrest, failure to keep the individual from harm. Just basically deprivating this individual of their rights. Unlawfully stripping their U.S. federal protected rights from them, which is not their right for them to do that because they don't enforce federal law. So that right there is a huge sign of disrespect to y'all agency, and these individuals engaging in trying to strip their U.S. federal protected rights from them. That's not their jurisdiction to start with to even engage in that practice. I'm going to set the record straight with these type of arrogant individuals, these fools that are demonic. I'm going to put them on a judgment real quick when it comes to that. Because that ain't even a law to be enforcing. They don't enforce federal law. They don't enforce titles and sections under federal law jurisdiction. And yet for them to sit there and think that they could strip, they could violate Title 18 USC Section 242 to unlawfully strip this individual's U.S. federal protected rights from them when they don't enforce federal law, they deserve to be confronted by that. Because that ain't the jurisdiction that they can run or enforce, because it's not their jurisdiction. That's what I'm going to argue my point about and object certain things when it comes to these individuals that may be trying to project some fearful energy on them or to try to manipulate them or to try to have them falsely accused of, oh, well, it's them that's doing it. I'm going to checkmate those individuals on that. You ain't about to be bringing no type of legitimate officials through a smear campaign that actually could step in and stop a situation once it could be properly identified and they can obtain legitimate evidence to prove it's a cult being ran. So I'm going to object those allegations against this agency because it ain't the truth. They're actually the agency that can step in and stop this once it's properly identified and there's a legitimate investigation takes place. They could gather evidence from federal prosecutors and U.S. attorneys to step in and ought to bring charges upon these people, which therefore is going to represent. This is an intense situation, y'all. Give me a closing message. King of Wands coming up in reverse. Yeah, this is just like, I'm not really getting it's just one person. Like there's a lot of energies that are out of control, manipulative, a lot of tyranny This is tyranny. This is Tyranny, tyranny. A lot of tyranny going on. That's all it is. But they have to realize what is beyond the tyranny. Why is that happening? Because there's no legitimate laws that are being enforced. That's why nobody in here is holding other ones accountable that works within the same institution. Therefore, it's going to be completely different than a federal institution. Exactly. That's why none of these individuals are holding each other accountable. And these people in here want falsified information on the arrest report. If they try to arrest an innocent person and put them in jail, and they're trying to put something on their name, don't you think that's going to pop up on the background check of the FBI if they're investigating the situation? Therefore, the minute they see something on this individual's background, that right there could hurt the individual's credibility. But I'm getting at this right here may have a drastic turn because of these individuals being seen to be engaging in things that has been found to be lying on this person. That's going to better to clear their name all the way possibly. Because they have the full information. FBI, I got the full background information on the person that's being done that way. Yes, they do. There's also a thing called freedom of information. What is that? Freedom of information, something else. I know it's freedom of information. You can ask them for a file. They have a file or whatever. I forgot what the rest of it is, y'all, but it's freedom of information. Freedom of Information Act, I want to say. Freedom of Information Act. I want to say it's that. Like I said, I don't want to give the wrong information out, but I want to say it's Freedom of Information Act. That you're allowed to know certain things. Like if you got a file, you're allowed to know that. That is your right to know that. The devil, somebody's trying to control that too. Somebody's trying to control that too. That's what I'm getting. But these individuals literally think that they could force the higher up individuals in order to not protect you. Correction. They will. If they have enough probable cause or something leads them to protecting somebody, they will step in and protect them. But yeah, you do have the right to Freedom of Information Act. That means you have the right to ask for a file. If they have a file on, you have the right to ask them for that. It's called Freedom of Information Act. You have to go through a process, but you do have that right. You do have that right. You may not have to do that because there may be a few individuals, if some of you out there, because there's a lot of people that are going through similar activities like this, and they may receive reports all day, every day of the harassment. Bro, this is going on worldwide. But it's all about being able to identify where the root of the problem is. I'm going to tell you what it is, bro. It's these cults. That's what it is. It's cults, witchcraft, cult-like practices, ritualistic practices being done. That's what it is. And it's also covens, witch covens. And this type of witchcraft, bro, this type of ritualistic practices are connected to some dark things, bro, that could literally use underworld forces to manipulate things. That's what it is. That's why the stalking is occurring when you witness it and nobody else can sit there. They don't seem to see what you see. That's why. Because it's meant to catch the attention of the earth angel. It's meant to catch the attention of somebody that's not engaging in that. That's why. It's not that it's overlooked. Trust me. It's being seen by other people that resonate, that see things exactly how you see it. That's why they got people all over YouTube documenting that activity down. Why is someone sitting in the middle of the road like that? Why are they idling in their vehicle? and yet you have similar information and video proof to prove that, that right there is going to get you to where you're credible. Your reports are credible. So if you ever put in a report to the higher ups, if you ever reported some of these incidents or these incidents to the FBI, then therefore they're going to conduct an investigation, and something may be popping up to where they have other people that could have complained about that. So therefore there is a problem. But they just want to know where the root of the problem is. And once they could get down to it, then I'm pretty sure they'll take action. Just like I said, y'all, it's a procedure. It's a certain procedure that they have to go through. But all while these procedures may be taking place, you have to understand that these people don't want these people protected. So what they're going to do is they're going to do rituals to slow the investigation down. They're going to try to project fear on them, to where the individual may get the energy to where they feel as if they're annoying the FBI, as if they feel like they have to report something being done to them, and yet you just feel something trying to control you, like, you feel like you're bothering them. Don't let that interfere with you, because you're not. You're not. It's their job to hear you out. It's their job to, if there's something bothering you and hurting you, bro, you should report that. Report that shit. Don't just sit there and let it hurt you. They may not be able to get up and actually do something about it right then and there, but it's good to report it because they're going to document that down. Either in their computers, or they may write it down on paper, or they may put the information in the computer. It's all going to be documented. And eventually, when something gets reported in a repetitive cycle to where these individuals keep on violating your rights, and you have camera evidence to prove what they're engaging in, eventually they're going to start spotting that these individuals are indeed engaging in something that's extremely corrupt, that is hurting you. Don't think that ain't nobody going to sit there and protect you. Believe in the Most High that He can have influence over all these individuals and inspire them and actually create divine intervention to cause a shift to take place to actually protect these people that are going through that. Because there's numerous of people around the country that are going through that, y'all. They are. It's not just one person. It's not just an isolated incident. This is happening all over. But something's telling me this is starting to close in, and people are starting to become aware of what this really is that's doing that. Yes, they are. But it's like I said earlier, it's in my destiny to call this out, to give them this type of information, spiritual knowledge. And like I said, I don't know if they have ever been told about their badges before, what the symbolism is on their badge. But there's a spiritual meaning beyond that, because it's an identical, whoa, hold on, y'all. The symbolism on their badge with the sword and the scales on the other hand, if they go look up the simulation or the Archangel Michael, the statue of Archangel Michael, and look up the information about Archangel Michael, they're going to see what that angel is there for. And they're going to see Archangel Michael has his foot on the devil's head, pinning him down with the sword drawn back, and the scales looking down like that to say, you're going to stop. You're going to stop, bro. That's the power the higher-ups have to stop these cults, witch covens. Even the ones that think that they running the law, they don't run nothing. Because certain procedure, rules, regulations, and procedures, state law, enforcement, is not being ran the proper way. And this is indeed on the local level. Clarified it with my cards. This is the local level. But the locals have to keep in mind, but they have to enforce state law. That's what they're there for. It's basically, how can I say this? I'm not gonna keep on going over the information, y'all, because I know I'm right on that. But I'm being guided to say it again. City police, that's the locals. That means that they have city limit jurisdiction of enforcing state law. You have the sheriffs, which is going to be enforcing the county or the parish jurisdiction, but they're also enforcing state law. But they're a bit higher than the city police. They have more jurisdiction over the city police. They can only do so much within the city limit jurisdiction of that city. Now, if there's a joint investigation, they could collaborate and have a joint investigation between different city police departments or the sheriffs. That is some truth to that. But what they're there to enforce is state law. And when things are being done in the exact opposite manner, that's not going by state law, that are engaging in these practices and patterns, and this right here, bro, is going to be able to identify it under the Title 42 USC Section 14141. Because the minute that you're being falsely accused or these individuals are trying to hurt and harm you with violating your Fourth Amendment, your civil rights, also Title 18 USC Section 242, deprivating your U.S. protected federal rights, then that right there is going to better to be identified as this is a pattern and practice. That's not enforcing state law. Therefore, it's going to better to identify color of law violations. Color of law violation is the exact opposite of state law. That's not enforcing state law, but that is violating color of law. There's a difference. That means tampering with things, fabricating things, same thing. Once a pattern and practice is being engaged in that much of a repetitive cycle of a pattern and a practice, that's going to be Title 42 USC Section 14141. Because that pattern and practice is deprivating the individual of their rights. Therefore, it's going to wrap it right back around to the Title 18 USC Section 242. Violation of the individual's U.S. protected federal rights. Therefore comes the U.S. 18 Code 201, bribes of jurors and witnesses. But anyways, y'all, this is my knowledge I'm going to share. Just like I said before, this is what they're supposed to be doing, enforcing state law. Color law violations while committing these practices while on duty, that's going to be a violation of Title 42 USC Section 14141. Meant to deprivate you of your rights, your federal protected rights. Therefore, it's outside their jurisdiction. That's going to be able to prove color law violations. And these individuals relentlessly trying to carry out an injustice on you in order to try to force these color law violations on you as if you're guilty of something when it's them that's engaging in these practices and patterns. That right there is going to be able to identify it as obstruction of your federal justice. Not state law justice, not state justice, federal justice. There's two complete different laws. We're not going to say just regular obstruction of justice. We're going to make it extreme. We're going to get it to the extreme level to identify it on the extreme level. That's your federal justice. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to explain why. Because of Supreme Court rulings. A higher up court ruling. Which therefore rules when it comes to federal jurisdiction. That's federal justice. See, people don't know how to identify things like that, which is why they're unable to get things to shift. But guess what? I know how to identify it. Or exactly how to do that. And this right here, bro, if you know what you're doing, this can have everything dropped off you just like that. Me, I'm still fighting the situation kind of, but I can feel that people are starting to back off. That's good. They're going to back off too. They're going to back off. Oh, yes, they will. Yes, they will. Because I'm right about my information. I'm going to object everything that's being done under unlawful orders and practices. I'm not going to consent to any of that. I'm going to object it, and I'm going to stand hard in my power. I'm an innocent man. I'm going to be left alone. What I'm doing as a practice is protected under the First Amendment. I have the right to travel freely in a public setting. Even though I may be a spiritual person, I have the right to travel freely in a public setting. Without being assaulted of the U.S. constitutional right violation, which is unreasonable searches being conducted upon my person from officials. That means any official It means they don't have legitimate probable cause to conduct any type of search on me. That means investigation, investigative tactics. They don't have the right to search me. I don't consent to searches. I don't consent to searches. There's no legitimate probable cause to even conduct a search. I do not consent to unlawful searches upon me or unreasonable searches upon me. I do not consent to any type of unlawful order upon me under the federal law jurisdictional level of Title 42 U.S.C. Section 14141, Title 18 U.S.C. Section 242, U.S. 18 Code 201. I will object any unlawful order, any type of corrupt practice that is being continuously and countless amount of times being done to me. I will object that. I will object that. Every time I travel in a public setting, what I'm speaking about here is, every time I travel in a public setting, I get an uneasy feeling in my stomach that somebody is doing something to me when it comes to trying to have me falsely accused of things that I'm not doing. That's why I have dash cameras in my car. But the way things are done over here, but they don't want to see your side. They don't want, but this is a lot of people that are going through that. You can literally have the evidence. I've witnessed other people go in there and they're just completely drowned out. They're pushed to the side. They don't want to see the evidence. They don't want none of that. You're guilty. You're found guilty. You're found guilty. You're found guilty. Correction. Objection. No, the individual is not. No, they're not. They can actually have this case removed out of this individual's possession and to be removed out of there to be to Supreme Court rulings because of certain violations being committed on the individual to violate their U.S. federal protected rights. That's why. There's supposed to be a fair rule. That individual has the right to a fair trial. They have the right to a fair ruling and a fair trial. They have the right to that. Even though they may be a defendant in a case, not really the plaintiff, they may be a defendant in a case. Still though, they have the right to be heard with a proper, fair ruling. No bias, no none of that. No having meetings before the ruling occurs to premeditate a ruling. That right there is a violation of the individual's rights too. That right there could be used against the individual doing that from a federal law violation. That right there could be removed out of the individual's possession and to be a federal court, Supreme Court ruling. See, these individuals, bro, really don't know. And some of us out there know our rights, and we know it on a critical level that can have all this. If somebody trying to do things to have you accused as a criminal, that's false allegations, defamation of character, and that right there is hurting your reputation. It don't matter what they have on your name or what they're trying to get to stick to you because it's not valid. It's not valid. It means you deserve to have a fair ruling. It means you have the right to object. You have the right to get a full sentence out and to give your side without being forced to comply to things, without you even having the time to talk or to present your evidence. You sitting there, you got the prosecutor sitting there and taunting you, trying to intimidate you, and then you got the individual trying to oppress you? No, bro. That's not no fair ruling. That's not. I'm going to object that under Title 42 U.S.C. Section 14141. I'm going to object that. I'm going to object that. Objection. 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 That's not a fair ruling. You're supposed to have the right, because you do have a right to a fair trial. You do have a right to a fair judgment and a fair ruling. Even if you are a defendant, you have the right to that. You have the right to speak. You have the right to present your evidence. And you have the right to contradict everything of what the prosecution and anybody else is trying to accuse you of doing that you're not, because that's what they're there for. They're there for to bring charges and to have a charge stick to you. But when you could sit there and contradict everything of what they're trying to put a charge on you with, therefore removes probable cause. You just identified that there's no probable cause. So how are they going to be able to go through with a charge on you, huh? Exactly. See, that's what I'm having to be faced with right now, and I'm right about my information, but yet they're refusing to drop it. That's okay. That's okay, because I'm going to keep on fighting. I'm going to keep on fighting behind the scenes, even though I may not be in there trying to drag this all the way out to January 22nd of 2026. I'm going to keep relentlessly fighting this situation because I'm right. I've also proved that you can legally cuss a cop out and raise your voice at him and cuss him out without being arrested. It's not a violation. It's free speech. You can legally cuss an official out without being arrested. Call him all kind of names. What happened June 2nd at the store, bro, wasn't even involving cussing anybody out. I just said fuck off and leave me alone. What's the problem, bro? How am I going to get charged with disturbing the peace? That's bullshit, because if you can legally cuss a cop out, and yet that's what happened over there, where's the probable cause? It ain't no fucking disturbing the peace. And then I was on the phone with the FBI agent asking them for their assistance. All they got to do is go retrieve the phone call. And that right there can actually back me up as I say, this guy was calm. He was on the phone with us. What you got on that? I'm not really going to discuss the situation on a live stream, y'all, but this is something I'm having to fight. Because of disturbing the peace charge being put up on me and relentlessly being dragged when it shouldn't even be dragged, bro. It should be dropped. It should be dropped. I've really did a lot of informative research. I've did a lot of investigative research when it comes to what free speech is, and I can back that up. You can legally cuss a cop out of the law and not be prosecuted for it, because that's a violation of the First Amendment, free speech. So how is disturbing the peace going to be put up on me for simply saying fuck off, leave me alone, when someone followed me out the building and antagonized me and harassed me? Because that's harassment. What they expect me to do, just sit there and keep quiet about it? No, I'm not. But that's not no legitimate charge to start with what happened that day. It's not. I'm going to continuously fight this situation, bro. Like, I've given this individual numerous amount of opportunities to drop this charge off of me. And I'm going to keep on pressuring. I'm going to keep on bringing relentless pressure on this situation until something gives it, because it ain't going to be me. I'm not going to submit to under any type of abuse of power or authority. They're not there to dominate me. It ain't going to happen. You're not going to have a non-legitimate charge stick to me, bro. You're not going to sit there and violate my U.S. federal protected rights and the U.S. Constitution and relentlessly think that you're going to use a restraining order paper against me in order to try to have it spruced up. Dude, the charge ain't even on me. How is a restraining order going to work against me when a charge ain't legit? It's a U.S. constitutional violation. That means the charge ain't even there. What are you doing with the restraining order papers? You can't use any of that against me because there's no charge of disturbing the peace. I'm an innocent man. I am an innocent man. I am not a defendant. I am an innocent man because this is malicious prosecution upon me. I advise this guy to drop this charge off me, bro, because I'm right about the U.S. Constitution. I did not engage in any type of fistic encounter, which is a fight. I did not engage in a fight. I did not engage in threatening anybody. I simply told the individual, fuck off. Leave me alone. I said, you didn't know what this individual tried to do to me. How is that disturbing anybody's peace? You can literally say things with profanity. It's not considered offensive language like they think it is. It's not, because they have something that can back that up, that this ain't nothing pertaining to that. If you can legally cuss a cop out and yet get away with the First Amendment without it being identified as offensive language, then therefore, how am I going to better to be charged with disturbing the peace whenever free speech protects, whenever you can legally cuss a cop out? This ain't even an official that I told to fuck off and leave me alone. But there's no cussing him out, calling him names, like sitting there provoking a fight. There wasn't none of that. I was simply defending myself because a guy followed me out the building. I'm not going to sit there and be disrespected. When I tell somebody leave me alone, I'm not going to engage in a conversation about an ex. It means leave me alone. And he kept on and kept on and kept on. That's when I turned out the door. I walked out. He followed me out, threatened me with an arrest, and threatened me with a trespass. And that's when I turned around, because he was following me like that. I turned around and told him fuck off and leave me alone in a moderate tone. not raising my voice or provoking a fight in any type of manner. So how is that disturbing the peace? I'm gonna check this dude on his charge, but that keeps on relentlessly trying to drag something out. There's no legitimate charge. This disturbing the peace will not stick to me, bro. And if they think that they could use this restraining order paper, I could contradict everything that's on that also. But still, though, it's all based off the charge that is originally put on me, which is highly unethical. It's unlawful. It's not a legitimate charge on me. It's not. So therefore, how can they have evidence or some type of credibility when it comes to trying to add things to the charge in order to try to get it to stick? Not adding charges, but that charge itself. There's no charge because it's a U.S. constitutional violation. If you're legally allowed to cuss a cop out, bruh, in a moderate tone, or you could sit there and you could call them all kind of names. If that can't be used as offensive language against the individual, they could cuss them out and do whatever they want when it comes to calling them every name in the book. What I've done that day was completely different than even doing that. So how is that disturbing the peace? This is what I have a problem with, because they're relentlessly trying to oppress my side with my legitimate evidence that can drop this charge because there's no probable cause. They don't have sufficient evidence like they think they do because there's no evidence to it. There's not even no charge there. It's not disturbing the peace. When they, a proper investigation, a proper procedure of legal proceedings will view both viewpoints. Why did a man follow me out the building after I strictly told him to leave me alone? It means that when you tell somebody to leave you alone, when you're in the store, that's a manager, right? You're a customer. When you tell somebody or anybody, when you tell them to leave you alone, you don't want to talk about a matter with them. It means you leave them alone. When a person walks away from you and turns their back and you follow them, you're fucking harassing them. I'm not going to sit there and put up with that because I was threatened with a trespass and arrest. I'm not going to sit there and put up with that. I had every right to tell them, F off, leave me alone. How was that disturbing anybody's peace? I was harassed that day and I stood up for myself. And if they got a problem with it, then so be it. Why you think I was on the phone with the higher ups? Because I knew what was about to take place. I predicted it through my cards days before that. It's not no legitimate charge that's on me, bro. It's not disturbing the peace at all. So what if they had other people that was in a public setting that was watching me stand my ground? It means that you are drawing attention to yourself by attacking me and trying to harass me. And I'm defending myself from an attacker that's threatening my fucking freedom. Like I said, if they really go do their research that you can legally cuss a cop out and it's protected under the First Amendment, there's no offensive language. Because there's certain things that could prevent that from being charged on you. I see it all the time on YouTube. People cuss cops out all the time. They sit there and raise their voice at them. And guess what? Still don't have disturbing the peace on them. Because it's not considered disturbing the peace. Making loud noises and making a noise to disturb, like to cause a public outrage and disturbance, that's disturbing the peace. Loud music, like jamming music to where it's really, 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 really loud. Or you have somebody that's raising their voice to the top of their lungs and sitting there yelling. Anyways, I said what I said. I said what I had to say. I will have this bullshit charge dropped off of me, bro. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. This will be dismissed. Yes, it will. It's not disturbing the peace at all. Let me go ahead and do a read, y'all, to see how the higher ups would see this, like these individuals trying to relentlessly carry out that charge when it's non-legitimate. And I'm gonna use that as a defense. If you could legally cuss a cop out, call them every name in the book, and sit there and be nasty verbally with them, and you not be charged with anything of disturbing the peace because of protected on the First Amendment, what happened the day of June 2nd? There wasn't no cussing anybody out. I was upset, and yeah, I may have used cuss words, but it's not considered disturbing the peace. Telling somebody to fuck off and leave you alone, and standing up for yourself from an attacker following you out of business, that right there is not disturbing the peace. That's harassment on their behalf. They should have respected my wishes when I turned my back and went out the store to go to my car to leave to go eat my food. They should have left me alone. I was just about to ask my cards, how does the higher up law view this charge being stuck to me? It's corrupt. It's injustice. How do they view this charge right now, currently? These individuals are relentlessly trying to hold this charge to me. It ain't gonna be held on me, bro. I can feel these individuals in my stomach doing something to me right now. I can't stand these individuals. They're attacking me right now with a ritual. I can feel that, bro. I can feel these individuals' energy. They're watching this live stream. That's been doing that to me. I can feel them. So how does federal law view this charge? That's still on me, apparently, because I ain't been notified that it's been dismissed or dropped. Six of Swords. They perceive this as, this is the wrong decision, but they keep on forcing it with a lie. They know it's a lie. This is harassment and intimidation. They're watching. Oh, I'm getting that. They could be watching these individuals sit there and thinking that they got the upper hand, but they really don't. They see this as a form of a lie. This is the wrong decision. Another indication of wrong decision with the aces in reverse. This is the wrong decision. Queen of Swords reverse. This could be pissing an air sign off. King of Pentacles reverse. Nine of Wands. Judgment. This is under judgment for lying. Seven of Swords reverse. They perceive me to be knowing my stuff about what's going on here. Six of Pentacles. High Priestess reverse. The Eight of Cups. And the Two of Swords. They perceive these individuals to be making a wrong decision, what it looks like. They perceive this as the wrong decision. This is corruption. Two King of Pentacles reverse is corruption. They perceive this as to be harassing me. They also are perceiving this as getting in the way of my forward movement at my forward movement and moving on. They also perceive me to have my back turned. When I walked away, they should have left me alone. They perceive this as this individual antagonizing me with the Five of Swords. I'm also getting, there's a federal judge that's right here that's giving me I'm not going to say all that, y'all, because I'm not going to make any assumptions, but I'm getting it. If this is a higher up judge, this is all about, you have the right to walk away from that. Because they're judging something off a wrong decision. They're judging something, their judgment is putting judgment on the wrong decision that was put on me. With the Ace of Swords reverse. Because the way that this judge right here, see, this is a different judge. So a different judge may be analyzing this, is what I'm getting. A different judge is analyzing this. And this judge is annoyed by this sticking to me. There's a judge that can put a ruling in my favor to where I can walk away. They perceive me to be calling this out accurately too, if possibly, with a judgment card. I'm right about my information flow when it comes to the U.S. Constitution, when it comes to free speech. Even though it's not recommended, y'all, I don't advise people cussing any type of law enforcement out. But legally, technically on a legal level, you do have the legal right to cuss them out. And I'm getting a judge could agree with me. There's a different judge, even though it's not advised, but a judge ain't going to look at that as a positive thing. But when it comes to a fair judge, they can't sit there and find you guilty of disturbing the peace or any of that, or harassment when it comes to you just exercising free speech to even cuss a cop out. Even though they're not going to look at it in a positive way when it's in there, but they can't convict you for anything because it's free speech protected. That's a fair judge that will look at it that way. Now, they may not agree to using this type of language towards an official, but at the same time, you don't deserve to be prosecuted for using profanity and cussing a cop out. There's a fair judge that sees what I'm saying, that knows that what happened that day wasn't even near somebody cussing a cop out. So somebody that could cuss a cop out, that could still be free without any charge, why are they putting this disturbing the peace charge on me whenever there's no... This is irritating, bro. Y'all, all right, y'all, I'm back. So there could literally be a higher up judge and maybe analyzing out what I'm calling out. And this right here is all about walking away. There's a different judge annoyed at what it appears to me. They're annoyed at somebody trying to get this to stick on me. They're annoyed. They're looking at this King of Pentacles reverse as this. There's another judge somewhere that don't like that. There's a judge in a different location that may be observing my YouTube channel that's hearing me call that out. They agree with me, and they don't like that. I should be set free with the Eight of Cups. This judge is judging this as a wrong decision. They shouldn't have this stuck on me at all. No, they don't. This judge may have some knowledge or some information on me being harassed with the Five of Swords, like this intimidation, bullying, trying to intimidate. This judge may be looking at these individuals as a form of intimidation, bullying, harassment, trying to oppress me. This judge is also looking at this charge to try to oppress me with the Ace of Swords reverse, but this is the wrong decision, what it looks like. And there's someone that's right here, like if this is a different judge, this judge could pass a ruling down to overpower something to where I could walk away. Good. I'm not saying it is that way, but if it is a different one, then this could overpower something where I could walk away. And they're also looking at it as, okay, he had his back turned. What this individual done walking out the door? Why did this individual go out the door to bother him? That ain't no disturbing of peace. The guy was simply defending himself from an attacker and standing up. There's another judge that sees exactly what it is. Indeed, he ain't disturbing the peace. No, he's not. No, he's not. There's another judge that sees exactly what it is, how I'm calling it out. He may overpower this. Whoever this is could be a lady judge. There could be a feminine judge. Lady judge. There could be a there could be a lady judge. Whoever this lady is, if this is one of them, they're actually one of the ones that are, they could be in their 30s or they could be in their 40s. You know what this judge is giving me the vibes of? This could literally be a feminine judge here. That may be a higher up judge. She's giving off the she's giving off the vibe. She's giving off the vibes of the movie Michael. Hold on, y'all. Hey, can y'all hear me or no? Hey, can y'all hear me or no? The comment section is open again. Hold on. So people can hear me? Alright, but anyways, okay, I don't know if y'all are familiar with the movie Michael. The Archangel with John Travolta. It's an old movie. This is if this is a female judge, this is a judge that is genuine. This judge sees an angel around me is what it looks like, bro. This judge sees an angelic presence about me. It could be a female judge that can overpower this situation and have me walk away. I'm not saying it is, but judgment is on the Eight of Cups energy. As I say, this water sign deserves to walk away. This judge is irritated with this this is irritated. This judge could be getting irritated. She could be irritated at the fact that this is sticking to me because this is the wrong decision. She knows what these individuals are doing. If this is a female judge, she knows what's going on. Look, you mean to tell her that a person's going to follow him out the business and antagonize him and he turns around and tells them to F off? They deserve that. They deserve that. That's harassment. That's harassment on their behalf. This guy was clearly walking to his car. When you tell somebody to leave you alone and they antagonize you, you are the harasser. You're provoking somebody and you're harassing them. When you tell somebody to leave you alone and they don't leave you alone and they literally follow you out of a building, that is harassment. That's a female judge that's a higher up judge in it. Good. If this did catch the attention of a higher up judge, awesome. 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 Look, like me, I better to walk away with the Eight of Cups. Awesome. This female judge is annoyed at whoever's having this stick to me this way. They're annoyed. They're annoyed. I will be able to walk away is what this judge right here, this female judge. This is overpowering something where I can walk away is what it looks like. This female judge is analyzing, okay, he turns his back and goes out the building, and this individual follows him out the building and antagonizes him. Threatens his freedom. Threatens his freedom. When he clearly stated he didn't want to hear about the ex. And yet continuously keeps talking about it, and yet he sits there for a little bit and turns and goes out the door, and the man follows him out the door to threaten him with arrest and a trespass after he clearly turned his back and he came out the building. That's harassment. That's harassment. That's criminal harassment on this individual's behalf. That's how another judge is judging it. It's criminal harassment. I don't know who these accounts are up here, but yeah, what I'm getting here is they see this as criminal harassment. This the wrong decision, but like with the Ace of Swords reverse, this ain't supposed to be stuck on me like that. You follow somebody out of a store, but after they told you leave them alone, you don't want to hear about the person. They should have left me alone. That right there is harassment. It could be interpreted as criminal harassment on their behalf. I deserve to walk away, and they're annoyed by this decision too. This female judge is annoyed by this decision. They're annoyed. Look at that. This judge is looking at this person, this King of Pentacles reverse, like, are you out your mind? She's annoyed. This judge, this female judge, is annoyed at this man. So I'm going to tell you why. She knows. She knows something. Why am I getting that this female judge may be highly annoyed and irritated with this being stuck to me? I'm getting he will walk away. Ooh, he will walk away. Just wait. Why is this judge annoyed? Because they possibly support my YouTube channel. Because they know that this is bothering me, bro. This is bothering me and this is hurting me. Abuse of power from authority figures. So this judge knows authority is abusing a power. Nine of Wands reverse. The Ace of Pentacles. Look at that. That's me right there. King of Cups. Queen of Wands. I deserve justice. I deserve proper, fair rulings, bro. Eight of Wands reverse. You know what I'm saying? Look, Three of Cups reverse. Page of Cups reverse. The Ten of Cups. The Knight of Cups. That's a higher up one. Yep, Justice and the Hierophant. That's a higher up judge. I knew it. I don't deserve to go to jail either. Six of Wands, that's why they're annoyed. Because this has been hurting me. This has been hurting me. That's why they're annoyed. Because I haven't been talking or entertaining conversations online. I haven't been engaging in any type of conversations online. And they got these conversations possibly connected to somebody that's connected to that. These individuals, something's telling me they may have some information that what happened that day, these individuals are connected to each other. And this was premeditated before I showed up that day to the store. But the way the judges, let this female judge, this high judges may be looking at it, he has the right to travel anywhere he wants in a public setting. So what if an ex works at a store? It don't matter. He's not there for them. There's no conversation, no contact between him and her. He's going in there to get his groceries. He's on a diet. What's the problem? But this right here is going to better to prove something with authority figures with conversations that was behind taking place before that even happened. So it's like, you think you actually going to stick an invalid fucking charge on him? I'm not saying they ain't going to say it like that. they can't swear in the court, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to see this judge saying that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Lady. Lady. I'm going to tell you why, because this individual knows that I'm a genuine guy. They also got another lady up here. Lady? Look like to me somebody could be stepping in for me and defending me. Yeah, somebody defending me. Yeah. Defending me. That's why they're annoyed. Because I haven't been talking to this individual, and yet there's something that may be connecting this situation to conversations of something that was set up before that date with the Three of Cups reverse. These individuals spreading the false rumors about me, but these rumors are being started through conversations, and they're trying to accuse me of doing certain things. That's how the rumors are starting. By them being on different accounts. Doing something online, and in order to start a fucking rumor. I'm gonna tell you something right now, bro. When it comes to people like spreading false information or rumors, even if it's not, if people are not trying to get me in trouble, I could care less. But when it comes to somebody trying to get me in trouble and doing all that, I will stand my ground. Yes, I will. But as far as rumors and all that, let them run their mouth. Let them say whatever they feel the need to say. And they're like, damn, bro, you really gonna let these individuals say all this negative shit? Toxic negativity, like brutal shit that can have people scared from you? Let them talk. Let them talk. Let them talk. That's what they want to do. Let them talk. Fucking haters, that's what they are. I'm going to tell you what you do to them. You don't give them no attention. You don't give them no attention. You sit there and let them talk. That's what makes them feel better. Let them talk. Let them continuously talk. I'll tell you what you tell them. Oh, man, I heard a lot about you. Good. You're going to hear a lot more. Just wait. You're going to hear a lot more. Man, I heard a lot about you. You're just going to hear a lot more, too. Get ready to hear a lot more. That's what I tell them. Good. You're going to hear a lot more. Good. Good. The fuck you want me to do about it? You heard this. What is that supposed to do to me? That's what I tell them. Good. Good. What they want me to do, sit there and just break down and get in an argument and do all this? Why? For some damn hate, like some type of misinformation that was created off of what these individuals keep on doing back and forth and back and forth. Sit there and defend yourself over what? What is there to defend yourself over? Now, on the other hand, when it comes to somebody trying to get me in trouble, I'm not going to sit there and stand for that. But when it comes to this right here, bro, I could care less. That's why they're annoyed. Because the people that should be in here are not. The people that should be in trouble are not. And they're sitting there continuously running their fucking mouth about me. Continuously abusing their authority, bro, and thinks that this is okay. That's why this female judge is upset with what she's seeing that's being done to me. That's what it looks like. They should be the ones getting in trouble, not me. This individual knows I'm a good person. That's why. They know I'm a good person. The judge like this female judge likes my energy. Remember how I told y'all earlier, like this individual could sense an angelic presence around me? I'm not gonna rely on external forces, y'all, for my protection. I know the Most High got me protected. But I just want to see why this individual would be annoyed. Because the wrong people are getting justice. That's why. The wrong people are getting justice and they're free. And I'm having to be held up when I'm an innocent man. That's alright. Things could change. Things could change. Yeah, things could change. How does this female judge see these individuals? How does she perceive them? Family. Family. Nine of Swords. Six of Wands. I'm being guided to not read that. Yeah, I'm being guided to not read that. But anyways, I just thought I'd document that down. Like, how would they see this being put on me or stuck to me? But anyways, y'all take it easy out there. Much love to y'all. This was the reading. Like, the last part, that was information I wanted to get. But anyways, y'all, this is what I have for the reading for November 2025. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like and subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. If y'all want to leave any donations, I will have a link in the description box below. Peace.